some of the politicians queuing up today to complain about what Rishi Sunak has done. Obviously, Labour politicians are complaining that he didn't do it sooner, and that even 10 days ago he was patronising, I think, Rachel Reeves about why it was perfectly simple that we couldn't possibly do this because, I'll get you the exact quote, we couldn't possibly do this because it would stop energy companies from investing in this country. Fast forward less than a fortnight, and he's announcing a windfall tax in the House of Commons, but rather pathetically and perhaps even patronisingly pretending that it's not actually a windfall tax. It's a something temporary, something thingy, profit, energy, profit, levy thingamy, but definitely not a windfall tax. It's like Faulty Towers, isn't it? Don't mention the windfall tax. And Wes Streeting's on the other side of that house going, oh, well, you started it. Don't mention the windfall tax. But it is a windfall tax. If it walks like a windfall tax and talks like a windfall tax, it is a blooming windfall tax. But look, here you have somebody, a cabinet minister telling the Times this morning, the politics of this is just so bad. Well, this is a cabinet minister, a Conservative cabinet minister. We voted against it. We marched the whole party up the hill. That's a reference to the fact they were whipped to vote against it about 10 days ago, certainly less than a fortnight ago. And now we're taking them back down again. It looks like we're being dictated to by Labour. Well, it doesn't just look like you're being dictated to by Labour. You are being dictated to by Labour, which is perhaps why some of them are so cross, including a chap called Richard Drax, who is estimated to be worth about 150 million quid. And that is a fortune that his family built largely upon the slave trade. It's one of the few fortunes still in existence that can be traced pretty much entirely back to that era. To give him his full name, Richard Grosvenor Plunkett Ernle Earl Drax, with, hang on, wait for it, 1, 2, 3 hyphens, no fewer than 3 hyphens. This is a sitting Conservative MP. He says, throwing red meat to socialists by raising taxes on businesses and telling them where to invest their money is not the Conservative way of encouraging those who create our prosperity and jobs. By setting this bar, we are in danger of allowing the socialists to raise it. You just sort of find yourself thinking that every time a Conservative MP has gone as low as you could possibly go in the context of the cost of living crisis, along comes another one to go even lower. It's like you start with George Eustice and his value brands comments, and then you move on to, I've got a mental block on her name, is it Helen McLean? Rachel McLean and her comments about, just get yourself a pay rise or work extra hours. And then you go on to the bloke from Ashington, Lee Anderson, and his comments about, well, if you're struggling to feed your family, you just need to have some cookery lessons. And then you've got a bloke with 150 million quid in the tank, absolutely fuming about the fact that the government has decided to give 400 quid to the poorest, well, a little bit more than 400 quid, a lot more than 400 quid to the poorest families in the country. But the government has decided to redistribute wealth from stinking rich energy companies to people who are struggling to heat their homes and feed their families. I honestly don't know where these people, what's the phrase I'm looking for? I don't know how they sleep at night. It's just a bit lazy. But what a stupid phrase from Richard Grosvenor Plunkett Ernle Earl Drax. Throwing red meat to socialists by raising taxes on businesses and telling them where to invest their money is not the Conservative way of encouraging those who create our prosperity and jobs. So please, won't somebody think of the plutocrats? Won't somebody think of the billionaires? All this talk about people who can't eat and people who can't heat their homes. Thank God for Richard Grosvenor Plunkett Ernle Earl Drax and his absolutely crucial concern for the plight of massive shareholders and supremely rich people like him. By setting the bar, we are in danger of allowing the socialists to raise it. Incredible, isn't it? These people who are born 3-0 up and think they've scored a hat-trick.